What's good, y'all? Black and Indeed, we are back. Still season 6. This is episode 9 or 10, depending on where you start. But as always, my name is Isaiah.
I'm Tykiera.
And this is Black and Indeed. Today we have a little bit more of an entertaining topic, a little bit more of a fun topic for today. And it's something that we've been wanting to do for a while, actually. It was Luzolo's idea to do it last semester, but we had so many topics that it just kind of went down to the bottom, and we ran out of time. So we wanted to talk about it this semester since we're starting to wrap up the school year. Time is winding down. We only have a few more episodes left to release to y'all. So with that being said, our topic for today we want to talk about was Black entertainment. And so before we get into that topic, I have to say this at the beginning. Y'all make sure y'all please like, subscribe, and comment on this episode. Please give us feedback. Please get our YouTube algorithm going back again with the likes so that this video can be sent to other people on their homepage. We really want to get our content out as far as possible and reach as many people as possible. So without further ado, get into the topic now.
All right.
The reason why we felt like this topic was timely, I wanted to talk about it last week, but y'all going to see we had an episode, a collaboration episode, which is really, really good. It should be out by the time this episode releases. I'm just working out some kinks. But the reason why I wanted to talk about it was because I recently changed my major.
Here we go. Once again, for the third time?
It's my 4th major. But for those y'all that are watching, just know it is okay to switch your major. It's college, it's the time to learn, and everybody is set in stone like her and knows that they want to be an engineer for the rest of their life. Like, some of us are a little bit more creative with what we do, so we kind of want to, check things out, see what's going on.
Right.
But for those of y'all that don't know, I'm still keeping my African Studies major. I'll be finished with that next school year. But I picked up an FTT major, which is film, television, and theater. I'll be having a concentration in television specifically. But the reason why I wanted to kind of talk about this topic and kind of talk about that major change is honestly because of Black and Indeed. And I've said this on in the mental health episode that we released this semester. But Black and Indeed has been it's been one of the best experiences of my life. It's been one of the best things that I feel like I've been a part of. Actually, the best thing I've been a part of. And just from being in front of a camera, sometimes even being behind the camera, doing some behind the scenes work, whenever D-Mac or Derek, aren't here, I have to, set some things up before they arrive. But I really enjoy doing this. I love entertaining y'all. We get some comments that I'm funny. Y'all say she's not, but it's like, I'm playing.
I know you are. I'm funny. I'm real funny. I know that.
I'm not going to go that far. But,
okay.
You
just mad.
But I like entertaining people. See? Sorry,
That's crazy.
One of our producers just looked at her because he knows that she's not that funny.
That's crazy.
But,
I'll be the only female in this how I get treated. Save me. Free Tykiera.
It's all in good fun. It's all in good fun. But yeah, I like entertaining people. I like getting into the entertainment industry. And even doing an African Studies major, one thing I really want to do, my end goal with this, I want to have my own Black-owned film production company. And
you're trying to be Oprah?
Oh. I'm not going to go that far. But I kind of want to be more towards the Tyler Perry, just without overworking your employees and creating less quality television as time goes on, but something more like that, So I kind of just want to do that, and I feel like I can combine Africana Studies and also FTT with that. I want to create movies, TV shows, a lot of things that really do portray the Black experience in a much more positive light than what it's normally portrayed, and sometimes in other lights too, getting down to the nitty-gritty. But that's kind of why I wanted to bring up this topic today.
And I'm Black. I like entertainment, so I can say what I want to say.
But she just can't entertain people is all. Oh, sorry. Continue.
I don't even know if I want to. So disrespectful. As you said, there's a lot of things to talk about in terms of Black entertainment, especially being represented, which going to PWIs, finding representation is already hard enough. Mm-hmm. So I do look to, outside sources, and this generation is not necessarily the best when it comes to finding Black representatives in terms of artists, movies, actors. It's a little rough, I'm not gonna lie. So Black entertainment we can be better. I will say that, we can be better. We're slacking. I don't know, Black entertainment, it has influenced me Not too much, but it has. There's some things that happen that, you know, do represent what I have gone through, what I potentially will go through, and that's things that I appreciate. And then there's also sometimes where there's a little bit of over-exaggeration in some things which I do not appreciate, especially when it comes to black women and the way we're portrayed. You know, the basic stereotypes, aggressive, ghetto, all of that. So those are things that I do not appreciate in black entertainment. People do use those characters because it's something that captures the eye of most people, so.
Yeah, and I would agree with that too. You know, one thing that you were talking about was like representation, especially representation in black media. And it was super like convenient, I guess. There was a video that went viral on TikTok a few weeks ago, maybe even a few months ago. But it was a video of Anthony Mackie, who's he's an actor, he's a black actor, in a lot of the Marvel movies, you know, stuff like that. And he made a comment kind of saying that he felt that Black Panther was disrespectful. And he said it wasn't disrespectful in the way that most people think, but it was disrespectful in the fact that Black Panther was the only Marvel movie that had pretty much an all-black cast, where they had black videographers, sound techs, costume designers, all of that stuff. But for all the other movies, you know, Iron Man, Ant-Man, all those other Marvel movies that are super well-known and that are beloved by a lot of fans, they don't really have too many black people behind the scenes. And so he made the point that why is it that only black people get to be a part of like a Marvel production whenever it's supposed to be a black story or all black cast? Why are they not seen as good enough to work on productions where there's, you know, white lead cast or, you know, the more prominent movies, if that makes sense?
Right.
And I thought that was a really good point because last semester we talked about, you know, the importance of positive black representation. And Luzolo and I both made the point that we need a lot more, you know, teachers, lawyers, doctors, engineers, you know, that are all black. Shout out, yeah. And you know, in that case, we still like wholeheartedly believe that. We absolutely do. But one thing I've really come to learn a little bit more is that we also need a lot more representation in black media too. I think a lot of the times we overinflate black media because we always equate it with music, you know. There's a lot of black rappers, a lot of black singers, and so with that, you could argue that there's overrepresentation. But then whenever we think of media, whenever you think of movie producers, documentary producers, like film writers, script writers, you know, stuff like that, the list of black people involved in those roles gets lower and lower. Whenever you think of people that are doing production, sound, audio, you know, AV, stuff like that, the list of black people in those roles gets lower and lower and lower. And that's why, like, I want to shout out Daniel McFarlane, our producer, real quick, because he's going off to work at Comcast after he graduates, and he'll be filling in one of those roles, you know, as a black person, where he's really doing a lot of behind-the-scenes work, but also contributing. And I hope, you know, I know he's listening to this, so I really hope that he brings in more black people, you know, that to really follow him and also teach them, you know, a lot of the stuff that he's doing. I know he's doing that right now with Derek, who hopefully will be replacing DMAC next semester for next school year, really, for Black and D. You know, and both of them, I really do wish them both the best, but I also hope that they continue to, you know, never lose their roots, never lose their ground, because we need a lot more black people who want to be actors, who want to be, you know, producers, who want to do stuff like that. The behind the scenes stuff too, because that's all important. You know, like the top actors can't get important if there's no one there to film the stuff, if there's no one there to control the sound. Like these people are just as crucial and just as imperative, just as important as the actors themselves. And I think that was really important to kind of point out too.
Yeah, and then just going off of that, it also sucks that a lot of black people who do the behind the scenes or are actually, like, you know, the actors themselves don't get the recognition they deserve, which really sucks because black people, we are freaking amazing. We make some of the best content that I've ever seen. We don't get the love that we deserve. It's either because we're not doing what everyone wants us to do in that moment, because we're actually doing something that, I don't want to say something that matters, but it's something that matters and it's not catering to what society wants. Or it's just something that, like, other people just can't relate to and don't want to, you know, step outside of their comfort zone, so they decide not to look into it. So I don't know, that just also comes with representation, where those who do represent us the way we should be represented don't get the love that they deserve.
Yeah, and I'd agree with that. And I also think another point is, one thing we really have to acknowledge that a lot of us as black people, we want social change, right? We want social justice, we want societal changes. And a lot of the times, excuse me, including myself, I felt that the only way I could really do that is through education, getting a PhD, becoming a professor, you know, teaching people, becoming politicians, you know, all this stuff. And obviously those are very great avenues to do that. But also, the more I kind of thought about it, I thought about what is something that all people of all races, it doesn't matter if you're white, black, Asian, Hispanic, whatever ethnicity you may be, whatever race you may be, what is something that we all have in common? And it's one thing is we all watch media.
Yeah.
Like we all consume entertainment, we all consume media. And the more I kind of thought about it, you know, I kind of thought more people are probably gonna have their eyes on a documentary, a TV show, or a movie about some sort of societal change or some sort of, you know, social justice than they would, you know, listening to a speech, you know, listening to some politician that may be in some random city in America. You know, like more people are gonna be watching. You have millions of people, you know, watching that stuff, and you're also creating millions and millions and millions of dollars in revenue and in profit, which you can then use to spread that money around to go help out black communities. And so that's something I really thought was important to touch on too, that we kind of don't think too much about, you know?
Yeah, I mean, media rules everything, especially in the generation nowadays. Everything is technological. Media is the main way you spread whatever you're trying to get out. So yeah, that was a really good point, because media is the way everyone learns nowadays. Shoot, even books are digital. So.
And that's why, like, I really wanted to place this big emphasis on black entertainment, like, cause like black entertainment it's so good, I guess, and not even I guess, like, it is great.
Say you guess?
You know, like it is great, but I'm just kind of trying to get my words together. I think black entertainment is very special. I think the one thing that we as black people, especially those who are in film and television, who are in that sort of realm, I think something that we need to do a lot more of is paint the positive stories of our experience. Like, that's something I want to do whenever I have my own black media production company. I really want to be able to create stories in which it's not about violence, drugs,
trauma.
You know, exactly, like getting past the sort of traumas. I want to create films where we're like, I still want to incorporate some of those things into my films. I'm not saying I'm just completely getting rid of that, but one thing I do want to put a greater emphasis on is creating those stories of black accomplishments, black achievements, you know, really showing the stories of, you know, a black kid growing up to become, you know, some famous academic or some famous whatever. You know, I see, see Derek back there. But, you know, I really want to create those stories because I feel like we need a lot more of them. You know, whenever people think of black entertainment and black, you know, media right now, we're thinking of our shows like Power, we're thinking of shows like, you know, Snowfall, which I love Snowfall. I won't lie to you, that's my favorite show right now.
I still haven't seen an episode.
You have to watch an episode. You have to watch it. It is the best thing on TV right now.
It starts slow. I haven't been able to get past the first episode.
It's easy to get through it. Like it only picks up from there. But you know, it's a show that, for those that have never watched Snowfall, it's a show that depicts the introduction of crack cocaine basically into black communities. And it also is a show that it focuses on, it takes place in the 80s. It takes place in South Central, I believe, around there, in California. And it puts a really big emphasis on understanding that a lot of the violence, the drugs, and all that stuff, it's played to black communities. But also, one thing that's really interesting is that it shows you the origins of that. Like, most of us know, you know, the government put the, you know, crack into black communities. And that's a very big part of Snowfall. And I'm not going to say anything more than that because then you start getting into spoiling. I'm not going to spoil the show for y'all. But I feel like that's, even though it really shows a lot of black trauma, it shows a lot of violence, you know, crime and stuff like that, some of the episodes are really just, they're almost inspiring. It's like they really show you so much, and the characters' perspectives are always so unique. Like, they're always so in-depth, they're always so detailed. And, you know, like, for example, there's one character who was in that life, and he begins to realize that, like, hey, look, this is ruining our community. Like, yeah, it made us a lot of money. We became millionaires. But this ruined our community. Like, look around and see all the, you know, you have crackheads, you have people who are strung out on meth, on heroin, and it's like, you know, just kind of look at that. And I thought that was super important because a lot of the times with the media, we don't see that sort of human reality. We only see, like, yeah, I'm selling this dope and I'm making money. I just went from rags to riches, and then, like, that's the whole story. That's why I really like Snowfall, because it really goes deeper into that.
The sad part about it, in communities like that, all it takes is just one person to just, like, step back and look at the community itself and want to make that change. We don't see that very often. Exactly.
And, you know, and that's why I really love the show. But I brought the show up because even though it's something that
Are they paying you?
I wish. Like, Man, I know this is a
Okay,
season. I think it was season 6 for Snowfall. I believe this is supposed to be the final season. But if they were gonna have another season,
6 seasons.
it goes by quick. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay.
But if they was gonna have another season, I was gonna try and call up Damson Idris. He's the one that plays Franklin, the main character. Get me on the show. Like I can act. Like I can act. I can do
You
that.
think he can do? All
I
right.
can. Like I can do that.
Man,
You
it's
know what I'm
confusing.
saying?
I'm not gonna hate because he's black. I'm just let's start small.
Look, all I'm saying is, I definitely could kill a role in that show. They could give me.
You gonna call damn? You don't know him.
I could find him. I don't know.
You're a stalker.
He got Instagram, right? All it takes is one DM. You never know. Maybe you're gonna check his DMs one day. I just landed my first big time role.
Okay.
See?
Yeah,
So why
the extra
you?
who walk by, maybe
Man.
hand him a little something.
Hey, look, you got to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. If I got to start off as an extra first before I get to the big screen.
You know what?
Well, it
Start
is.
somewhere, and that's also a good point. A lot of people, especially in the black community, are afraid to do things because they're afraid to start. And sometimes start leads to fail. But you never know where you're gonna go if you don't start. Let me stop hating.
Exactly. See, exactly.
My bad.
Because and a lot of the times, like, it takes risk. Especially for black people who are interested in getting into the entertainment industry or the film industry, media industry, kind of like I am right now. It takes a very big risk to make that commitment to say, look, I want to join this field where there's a lot of saturation, where everybody wants to be on TV, everybody wants to be doing something, but not everyone's going to have that opportunity. It's a very big risk. But at the same time, if it's something that you're passionate about, if it's something that you know you can do, if it's something you know you're willing to work towards, I feel like you make that jump.
You're gonna do all that you can, all that you want to do in order to get to where you want to go. If you have that ambition, you can do whatever you want.
And also, like, it's staying humble, too. Like I said, like, I just want to hit up Damson Idris.
You know how to stay.
Stop, look. Because, like I said, I want to hit up Damson Idris, and I want to, make it to that big screen immediately. But at the same time, like, sometimes you got to start small. Sometimes you got to start behind the camera. Sometimes you have to start, as an extra. You don't even have a line. You're on the screen for 2 seconds. Like, sometimes you just have to start somewhere.
Like, screen time is screen time. I give you that.
Exactly. And sometimes you just got to start somewhere. Like, Black and Indeed, for me, I feel like this is just the first step. It's only up from here. And so that's something I really felt like was important to touch on. But I mean, in general, I kind of wanted to divert the topic. If you have anything else you want to add.
No. Yeah. No.
Okay. So I want to ask, what are some of your favorite Black TV shows, Black movies? There's something that has to do with Black entertainment.
Growing up, okay, I was born in '02, right? But Martin, favorite, different color. Fresh Prince. I don't know what it is, but those three, used to always watch them on repeat, especially growing up as a kid. Knew them line by line. Martin, just funny, and it was one more of the like positive Black shows that they showed. Fresh Prince. It was positive, but there are also a lot of key moments that taught me lessons and things that I could relate to, especially like some certain scenarios and some situations Will was in, I was also in. Then different color. It's always nice just seeing a Black family just thrive. And then what else did you say? Music?
Nah, we already talked about music. But it's like TV shows, movies.
Movies. I watch movies, but not really. Although I was a Disney kid, so my favorite Disney movie is The Princess and the Frog. Although I do not like how she was a frog for most of the movie, it still was kind of disrespectful to me. But it was the first time the princess was Black. Like, it was a true representation of me as a little girl growing up. I've never had that before, never seen that before. Yeah, Princess and the Frog, top Disney movie. Give it a 10 out of 10, know all the songs, know all the lines. You could ask Derek back there, he hates watching that movie with me. But yeah, that's probably one of my favorite. I can't think of any other movie. I don't really, especially as of late, I don't watch TV.
I think you made a really good point though with your favorite like TV shows growing up. All of them were sitcoms, like Black sitcoms used to be elite. And I feel like right now we don't have really many out right now that you can really point to and be like, yeah, that's just like, that's nostalgia. Like, that's really good. Like, there's so many white sitcoms. There's not enough Black sitcoms out right now. And, we have things like Abbott Elementary, I guess if you count that as a sitcom.
Yeah, that's a
In the middle, kind of there. You had Blackish. Grownish, stuff like that. I didn't really watch Grownish. I feel like I grew out of Blackish.
Those are
over
like,
time.
they're not sitcoms. They're like, I don't
It's
know,
like it's hard to describe them, but like the similar, but
they're-
it's not fully there.
It's not fully,
Yeah,
it's not the same.
exactly. You know, but it's hard to find, you know, shows like Martin, like the Wayans brothers. That's one of my favorites. You know, Kenan and Kel. I watched that growing up a lot too, especially Nick at Night. That always came on at like 12 a.m. I was always up late, so I'd always watch
I was a
that.
good kid. I went to sleep.
Not me. I was up late.
You see.
But my favorite sitcom it's always been like My Wife and Kids. I love My Wife and Kids.
Oh my God. That just, I like that, yeah.
I like My Wife and Kids. I
I'm not
still
gonna say I
watch
forgot
that
about
show.
that, but it like, that really sparked something. My Wife and Kids.
It's like in a lot of those shows they're like elite, you know, like there's something special about them where I feel like they really created, you know, a sort of connection between the characters on TV and also with yourself.
Right.
You know, I love the reason why I love My Wife and Kids so much is because I love seeing a black family prosper, and I like seeing a black family that is together. It's not the stereotypical black family is the father's out the picture, it's just the mother taking care of all her kids, and that's what it is. But in My Wife and Kids, you got the mother, you got the father, you got all the kids, and they're all together. It's like there's not a time where they're not together. There's not a time where that I can remember at least. There's no divorce.
You know another show that I like? House of Pain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know I just loved it because one, I like Tyler Perry. I grew up with Aunt Bam. That's my girl. And then just seeing her like in, you know, with the same little relationship, that was also really good. Although there were some moments in there that were hit a little too hard to home. But I love the show. That's another one. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, that was great too. I mean, yeah, it's like it's something special about all those shows. You know, my favorite show growing up was Everybody Hates Chris. You know, like a show like that, it was one of those shows where I could really relate to. I could relate to Chris. You know, I could relate to, you know, his mother. I could relate to his father. I could relate to his siblings.
Right.
It's one of those shows where there's so much relatability, and I feel like we're really missing that right now in entertainment. There's not too many black shows that are out there right now that you can really say I gravitate towards that. And there's not really many black entertainment shows out right now that kind of resemble those.
Yeah. Because as I said, like, it goes with society, and society does not represent black people, which is sad to say, but everything that you see on media is not catered to us. And because media caters to what society wants, including black entertainment, we're not going to be seeing things that I can necessarily connect with as much, which is probably why I don't watch TV as much as I used to. And also, I just be busy, so that's another thing. But yeah.
I think it's just to point out, you know, a lot of the most prominent black shows that are out right now that are super popular are shows that focus on like violence and crime. BMF, Snowfall,
Literally violence,
Power.
crime, and drugs. Like that's the mix of.
And those are literally pretty much like the shows that we're kind of limited to right now, it seems like. And that's why I feel like it's so important for someone like me and for other black people out there who like, want to be content creators, who want to be creative, who want to share other stories. This is the time for us to be doing that. And you can start off young too. Like, this is not something where you have to wait until you've graduated from college. This isn't something you have to wait until your 20s, 30s, 40s. You can start now, whatever age you are, you can start creating content. You can start creating those sort of small incremental changes. And that's something even I want to work on. You know, this summer for my internship, for example, it's a media internship. And one of the things I'll be doing is I'll be going around the country interviewing politicians, other people of prominence in the black community. And another thing I'll be working on is a documentary here in South Bend on Eddy Street before it became Eddy Street, seeing how Eddy Street kind of displaced, you know, the black community out here. And that's something that it's something like, it's special, you know, it's something that kind of strays away from the normal narrative of what black entertainment is, what strays away from the normal, you know, sentiment of what black entertainment is. And I feel like that's super important. There's so much more we can be doing as black people in the entertainment industry. And that's why I feel like as much as we need black teachers, you know, professors, lawyers, doctors, surgeons, engineers, all that stuff, we also need more black people in the media industry. And if being in front of a camera is not your thing, like I said, we still need a lot more black people who are behind the camera. You know, we need people that are camera operators. We need people that can do sound. We need people that can do every other thing, editing. You know, like we need black people who are able to use their skills and showcase the fact that like we are more than what society makes us out to be. And that's what I feel like is important.
I agree, and also just don't like stick with things that only have to do with the camera. You can also, media literally, entertainment expands everything.
Journalism.
Journalism,
Yep.
music,
Mm.
FTT, it like anything that has to do with technology where you can do anything to represent who you are and who we are as a people, do it.
Absolutely.
Especially like as soon as you realize that's your passion, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
The only person who can tell you to stop or can stop you is yourself.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, usually, because that's how we're gonna wrap up this episode. You know, the only person that can stop you is you. There's so much societal pressure to not go into the entertainment industry, to not go into the film industry. Everyone tells you you're not gonna be successful. That's a long, hard journey. You should do the more immediate route. Engineering, you know, doctors, even though doctors, you gotta go to med school and all that stuff. But it's still, it could take less time to become a doctor than it could be to become someone of prominence in the media industry for some people. You know, but it's like, don't let society tell you what to do with your life, and don't let society stop you from chasing your dreams. My only piece of advice is know what you want to do, have a plan for how you're going to do that, and go out and go accomplish it. That's it. That's all you can do. Don't go in blind. Don't say, I'm going to do this and without having any thought behind it, without any thought process. Do all of that planning and then go out and make it happen. That's all you can do.
I said what I had to say. I agree.
You know, and I think that's the perfect way to really wrap up this episode. So for all y'all that are out there watching, y'all please like, subscribe, and comment on this episode. And like we said, if y'all want to get into that media entertainment industry, chase your dreams and don't let anybody stop you from doing that. As always, y'all, you know, black is beautiful, black is love, and black is excellence, and black is entertainment, and we out.